Please subscribe.
The 2019 BMW X5 is the fourth era of the German extravagance brand's uncontrollably prominent hybrid, however good fortune's detecting that. Much as it did with the 5 Series, BMW has rolled out just humble improvements to the X5's sheet metal for 2019, while packing however much innovation under the skin as could be expected. The after effect of this work is a hybrid that is difficult to get amped up for, yet simple to live, with the correct hardware. Before you begin grabbing the preservationist skin, BMW has a truly valid justification for its structure limitation. In October, the hotly anticipated X7 3-push hybrid will make a big appearance, furnished with styling motivated by the X7 i-Performance concept from a year ago's Frankfurt Motor Show. In case you're appearing another liter vehicle, you're not going to give an unknown amount a chance to take its thunder, isn't that so? Right. All things considered, a portion of the new contacts don't generally work. For a begin, the pattern toward larger-than-usual kidney grills, exemplified most intolerably by the iNext concept, requirements to end promptly. I additionally wish BMW thinned the taillights down a similar way it trimmed the X5's headlights. Best case scenario, it's hard to tell this is a BMW from behind, and, even under the least favorable conditions, it would appear that a Kia Sorento. A terrible thing simply because the X5's beginning cost is more than twofold that of the Korean hybrid. Changes in the Lodge are increasingly dynamic. The general design is insignificantly unique, to such an extent as BMW has ventured up the material quality. The old X5 was the genuine article in such manner, yet the new model gets various all-mode contacts. I borrow the glass move switch, in all likelihood a reaction to the Orifice's precious stone shifter in the Volvo XC90, the burled itemizing on the iDrive control handle, and the piano dark accents on the middle rear control surface. The accessible poplar matwood trim, included in the display, is stunning, while the enumerating on the discretionary merino calfskin is ideal for an extravagance SUV. The general solace of the Lodge is great, also. The seats give the whole deal comfort that makes family travels endurable, with a lot of help and movability for an assortment of body types and seating styles. There's little street or wind clamor, and the X5 completes a fine employment of restricting effect commotions to the accessible air suspension. All things considered, with the driver's seat in my seating position, second push legroom was more tightly than anticipated for a vehicle of this size. This solitary 37.4 crawls of legroom in back, which is a full inch, not exactly the a lot more seasoned Mercedes-Benz GLE class, and 1.4 inches, not exactly the Audi Q7, which additionally comes standard with a third push, something the new X5 will never again offer due to the forthcoming X7. Since automakers are as dependent on innovation as most youngsters, the X5 has an immense scope of electronic miscellaneous items. The order center is, obviously, the iDrive framework. The most recent form of BMW's omnipresent infotainment fix combines a 12.3-inch touchscreen on the dash with an indistinguishably estimated showcase and the instrument group, called BMW Live Cockpit, embracing the glass cockpit look that is turned into extremely popular among premium brands. Stunningly for a brand that will in general nickel and dime clients over hardware, both showcases are standard on the X5. This 7th-H iDrive framework really looks less like iDrive than at any other time. In the wake of utilizing a tile design for various areas in the last working framework, Rendition 7.0 movements the primary segments, media, communications, navigation, car, and apps, to one side of the showcase. Reconfigurable gadgets rule the focal point of the showcase, enabling drivers to orchestrate their landing page as they see fit. As regular for BMW, there are simple catches for speedy access to the distinctive segments, and, once inside, BMW's product group sorted out every zone such that will be right away recognizable to anybody that has utilized iDrive before. Live Cockpit offers a comparative scope of configurability, however that required BMW to make some structure bargains. to offer drivers a broad focus area for things, for example, maps, amusement information, and, on the grounds that BMW still thoroughly considers its drivers switch of the default comfort mode, a presentation for the driving experience control setting, programming engineers drove the speedometer and tachometer to the exact outside of the measure group. They're difficult to see contingent upon your seating position. Motion controls advanced toward the X5, also, on account of the move to iDrive 7.0. Similarly as with the 5 and 7 series, spinning your finger before the X5's infotainment screen should modify the volume. Notwithstanding, it's eventually silly. You know, since you can modify the volume on the guiding puller with the physical volume handle. This is fascinating innovation, yet it's as yet not exact or quick enough to ever feel helpful. Additionally, and this won't change until the point when somebody creates Tony Stark dimensions of motion control, it's hard not to resemble a bonehead while utilizing the X5's most futile component. I likewise encountered an irritating blunder on the drive course around Atlanta. The handle and catches the control iDrive totally solidified, and nothing I did could motivate them to work once more. This was in all likelihood an equipment issue. I never lost the radio, and the route kept on using out bearings and reroute me were fundamental. Be that as it may, I couldn't roll out some other improvements, despite the fact that whatever is left of the controls on the middle rear kept on working. BMW would particularly like clients to trust the X5's helpful rough terrain. It's so anxious to move this story that not exclusively did the organization add a rock driving mode to the driving experience control, BMW sent me on a 30-minute trip into the Georgia woods to put the X5 xDrive 4Ti, and its road tires, through its paces. What's more, cutting straight to the chase, for such a street-centered vehicle, the X5 has authentic rough terrain hacks. It can and will handle something beyond intensely Voyage 2 tracks. An accessible off-road bundle includes a programmed bolting back differential, a customizable 2-hub air suspension, and underbody assurance, alongside the standard cluster of cameras and a first-rate slope drop control framework. What's more, everything works. Be that as it may, on the grounds that a vehicle can go rough terrain doesn't mean it needs to. Envision, for a second, a canine. Envision attempting to drag that pooch to a place he wouldn't like to go, for example, the vet or, if your canine is in any way similar to mine, into the vehicle. Envision endeavoring to pet him, to quiet him down, as he's effectively standing up to. You can see and feel exactly how tense poor people creature is. That is the thing that driving the X5 rough terrain resembles. The X5 realized it could take the necessary steps. No automaker sets its vehicle up for disappointment, all things considered, and that it could do said function admirably. Be that as it may, lacking legitimate rough terrain equip, a 2-speed exchange case with a low-run gearbox, an appropriate arrangement of tires, and a locking front differential being the most obvious unlucky deficiencies, the X5 never felt agreeable or content with its assignment. The obstructions I experienced were more outrageous than what 99.99% of American drivers will be alright with, and I'd wager genuine cash the staying 100% that would like to handle these sorts of trails will take a gander at a Range Rover Sport, Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon, or even a Jeep Grand Cherokee before thinking about the X5. The X5 is better and far more joyful on cleared streets. While BMW will keep on offering a X5 with the 4.4-liter, twin-turbocharged V8, the xDrive 50i, the volume show is undeniably the xDrive 40i and its turbocharged 3.0-liter straight-six. With 335 pull and 330 pound-feet of torque, there's a lot of muscle to get the X5 up and moving. As in the 340i and 540i. This is an amazingly smooth motor that offers its capacity and torque up in a direct, unsurprising style, which it at that point exchanges to the drive wheels by method for a ZF-constructed 8-speed programmed transmission. The X5's base setup is good to the point that I'm not in any case vexed I didn't have sufficient energy to drive the more incredible xDrive 50i. Less incredible is the X5's four-wheel guiding framework. Called Integral Active Steering, it's accessible as a major aspect of the $3,650 dynamic handling package in spite of the fact that it's likewise accessible as an independent thing for $1,150. At high speeds, IAZ turns every one of the four wheels a similar weight, expanding soundness. At lower speeds, the back wheels turn the other way to the fronts, fixing the turning circle and expanding responsiveness. This is a fine thing on an execution vehicle, for example, the Mercedes-AMG GT 4-door, however it felt unnatural and hard to anticipate in the X5. I routinely entered turns too rapidly on the grounds that the X5 basically didn't drain speed like a vehicle of its size should. IAZ makes the X5 feel jittery and unusual in corners and joined with the inert, however consummately weighted, guiding. This implies it isn't indistinguishable certain handler in its fourth era from it was in its third. I've asked for a credit in Detroit of a 2019 X5 with IAZ so I can complete an increasingly careful test. Maybe with an excess of a couple of long periods of seat time, the positives of BMW's four-wheel controlling will be progressively apparent. Costs for the 2019 BMW X5 begin at $60,700 for the xDrive 40i, excluding a $995 Golden dealing with charge. My test vehicle, in the meantime, was completely optioned up, and included the range-topping $2,050 executive tier, which requires the $1,150 convenience and $2,050 premium levels, and also the driving assistant plus luxury seating and off-road bundles, $1,750, $1,600, and $3,950. Individually, independent alternatives included $1,550 21-inch wheels, $650 million sport brakes, the $1,150 four-wheel guiding framework, the $650 glass controls, counting that Tosan shifter, the $350 warm front and back seats, the $250 warmed armrests and controlling wheel, a $1,200 calfskin dash cover, a $875 Harman Kardon sound framework, and $550 metallic paint. The Astride cost was $81,230. However, while that sticker price is high, it shouldn't be. There's sufficient going,